Hello students. In our early lecture, we have gone through what we see the themes of the novel. So, in all, we have gone through the novel and its elements. For that purpose, as I have quoted in my video lecture, that the books that are very much important to develop and to get the content of the syllabus, these books are going to be useful. Now, in our next term, it is about the types of novels that are prescribed or you may come in your reading throughout your study in the next so called years. But whatever, you just need to understand in the very outset or in the very first, say, syllabus, beginning of the syllabus, the first few lectures are going to be used as a training for understanding the future course of your reading and your study of novels and different genres. So, in the novel, we have aspects or elements of novel. And now we have to move on to the types of novels. And as we know, see the types of novel that we may find is the Picaresque type of novel. So, what does it mean by Picaro? For the general students, Picaro is a Spanish word. It stands for a wandering rogue, means a young chap, a young boy, mostly teenager boy, who is moving from one place to another, doing certain kinds of adventures and misadventures. The wandering boy, due to his misadventures, due to his naughtiness, is infamous for his deeds and his activities. So, all the incidents revolves around the hero or the Picaresque hero or Picaro. So, as we need to go in the details, such a type of Picaresque hero is sometimes expelled from the home, sometimes run out. He escapes out of strange situation, out of some so-called clutches of a say tormenting, say, masters, and the rascal or the Picaro moves from one place to another, and now who lives and doing some adventures on his own by his working and moving on his own beats, where he meets other person. The generation of the incidents and events takes place. So, it is about a Picaro who is famous for misdeeds, misadventures, or sometimes adventures, who goes on lying, cheating. Sometimes some Picaresque hero turns out to be a very good person at the end of the novel. He learns through his moving from one place to another. The Picaresque hero is exposed to the social conditions, the characters on his way, on his journey, and he goes on moving from one place to another place. So, whatever incidents and actions that takes place are the collection of incidents and happenings that is collected together. So, when we think about these so called adventures and misadventures, we have to think about what are these misadventures that we see. The incidents or the happenings that is taking place, it's a collection of. So, it becomes a kind of an episode. If a hero who is moving meets a person on the river, on the boat, so what takes place? What arouses our curiosity is very fantastic incidents. If he moves, he goes into a particular village, there are so many people in the village. So there are certain actions until he comes back to his original route journey and starts his another journey. So up to that point, we have one episode of the novel, and there are such a series of episodes in the Picaresque novel. So Picaresque novel deals with these adventures and misadventures. Since the Picaresque novel is a journey that the Picaresque hero is exposed to, so the Picaresque hero moves from one place to another, and that is what all his characteristics of working, his adventures and misadventures. He brings us all the incidents related to him and to his deeds are realistically portrayed. Even the characters that he comes across are given the true and real picture, down to earth picture of the society and of the characters. So, Picaresque novel are realistic, are with social realism, and this social realism is down to earth presented with its all ailments, with its all good points, good characteristics, and also some types of social crimes, ailments. There is no such a kind of a hindrances to the author to depict good incident, good things, but to bring us all its elements and all its lacunas. So, whatever may be the consequences, the writer brings us the down to earth and realistic picture of the society in which it is produced. So, Picaresque novels are always realistic by nature. As the Picaresque novel brings us the social picture of the time, all its elements, all its vices, all its social, say, misfortunes, social picture with its good and bad and whatever things that is prevailing, social ailments that is prevailing, the manners of the people, their behavior, all are presented mostly of an aristocratic class of the society are brought forth to the people. And like this, it is nothing other but the realistic picture of the society, and it all brings us close to the picture or the society. And naturally, we accept if it is published in the domain, public domain, it is exposed. So, it does have some curative effect that we see on, on the society at large. So, it is realistically portrayed in the characters. Satire, it gives us the things that we see around. So, satire is about that. It's irony, it's humor, it is for the humor, it is for criticism, and we just need to put the end to these vices, to these ailments, social ailments, the manners that are wrong in the sense, wrong in against uh, against the eyes of the good mannered society. So it is all that. It is all about the things. So we do have all these things that we see in the society. So satire brings us very close to the literature. In the sense, we just need to think about all these things. Lazarillo de Tormes is one of the French Picaresque novel that was very early published in the 15th century, that you can see in the picture that is given here. It is Lazarillo de Tormes, the sage who published this French novel. Later on, under the influence of this prose type of romance or romantic type of writing, it's a realistic type of writing, and all this writing influenced Cervantes to publish his Lazarillo de Tormes. This is one of the classic masterpieces the world has ever seen in the form of Cervantes' Don Quixote. If we go through this novel, it's a bulky novel. It's a tale of a deranged gentleman who turns knight errant. It tilts to windmills and battles with the ship in the service of lady of his dreams. Dulcinea de Toboso has fascinated the generations of readers and inspired others, creative artists, Picasso and Richard Status. The tall, thin knight enter films and cars, supposedly intended as a parody of the most escapist fiction of the day. On the heroic journey, Don Quixote meets many characters, every class and condition, even prostitutes, who is commended for her Christian charity, who's to the knight of green coat, who seems to embody some of the constraints of the virtue. So, the book that you will find as very extremely fascinating account of the details. Cervantes' Don Quixote is extremely fascinating for its adventures, and it is of course very interesting to read the translation mode. See, so Don Quixote is one of the book. Henry Fielding's Tom Jones, which was also published in 1752 and 1750, Joseph Andrews. Both these so-called novels brings us very close to the Picaresque type of hero, Tom Jones. These novels, as I told you, are eponymous novel. Eponymous means the name of the hero or character is mentioned in the title of the novel. So Tom Jones is novel and the hero of the novel is Tom Jones. Joseph Andrews is the hero in the novel Joseph Andrews. At the same time, Mark Twain, who published The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, and it is a very fascinating, interesting book of the two kids that is subsequently given in the novel, that is Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn. Huck Finn is an accomplice, a friend of Tom Sawyer, who moves on the river Mississippi. So it is the adventures and misadventures on the river Mississippi that we find here. Saul Bellow, who wrote The Adventures of Augie March. This novel also is written on the mode, Picaresque mode. It's a kind of a technique the author is exposed to. We have Thomas Mann's Confessions of Felix Crow. This is a modern example. These Saul Bellow, Thomas Mann are modern examples of the Picaresque novel. There are others such a novelist, Charles Dickens, whose David Copperfield is also having some kind of a Picaresque elements and is also regarded as Picaresque type of novel. Daniel Defoe, the, the Four Wheel, or is a very famous 18th century novelist who wrote Moll Flanders as a female heroine or heroine to cheat, to rob, and to lie and do the prostitution work. She was a prost. She later on turns as a prost. She serves so many things to the people. So all her misadventures that is given in the character that is Moll Flanders. She is a Picaresque heroine, as we see. Another novel that is Robinson Crusoe by Daniel Defoe also brings us Robinson Crusoe's adventures and misadventures in a distant land called Africa. He was living with his black Afro-American man who was sympathetic with Robinson Crusoe, and he too Friday. But see, Robinson Crusoe and Friday, who lives in the black people, but he serves the cause. He tries to bring the civilization to the darkest part of the world or the region, and he tries to civilize them, educate them, establishes the civilization, giving them the education, giving them the all types of food and cares and love. He brings us the culture to the dark African continent, and that is what this may be treated as a Picaresque novel, but the novel is very remarkable in the sense it brings us good things, how to impart good things on the people. It is a service. He is lending his services to the black people or to the Afro-American people. He is lending his services to civilize them. And there is a confrontation among the black Afro-American and of course Robinson Crusoe. So these novels brings us very close to the term that is Picaresque. As I told you, these Picaresque novels are always very interesting in good novels to read and to spend time on. So if you happens to read any of the Picaresque novel, you will find the pleasures of the reading Picaresque novel. For the purposes, I have referred to some of these books. I wish that you should also refer to. So, to get the grasp of the term itself is Picaresque term, you will find M.H. Abraham's book is equally important. For the purpose of say images, I have searched on the web. So, Picaresque web images that you will get. I have taken few lines or some kind of references I prepared for from Moll Flanders, Daniel Defoe, Henry Fielding's Tom Jones that I used to give some references. At the same time, I have gone through Cervantes' Don Quixote. This book is also available, and it is very important to read these classic books. These are the world classic books that each and every bookshelf of a household should have. So, these classics are the part of parcel of the world classic literature, and that is what I hope I have taken the references of while quoting this lecture. You should refer to. With this, we thank you.